So in this episode of Mr. Black Adventures, I'm going to debunk some of the myths that has to do with India and travel to India. So stay tuned because I really feel India is one of those special places in the world that everyone must travel. So let's talk about the biggest misconception. India's poor and it's disgusting, nasty, whatever you want to call it. Looks can be deceiving on the surface. This country can appear poor due to its disproportion of wealth. The country is actually ranked 5th in GDP, trailing only the US, China, Germany, and Japan. In a city hosting 92 billionaires, a flat in Mumbai can run anywhere from $700K to $1 million in this posh district called Worli within Mumbai city center. That's $700 per square foot. Mumbai is not in the top 10 in the highest poverty rate, but at 21% and 1.5 billion in population, it hosts the most people in the world, which doesn't reflect the reality. As a traveler, how does that affect you? The first noticeable impact is the cost of goods and cost of transportation, which are very affordable. We spent nearly an hour and 20 minutes in a taxi that cost $16. Dinner at some of their swanky restaurants in India for 3 people was well under $100 with several plates of seafood and other fine dining items. Even the hotel rates are modest compared to neighboring countries. Our stay at the Four Seasons topped out at about $300 a night for an exquisite seafront view on the 28th floor. That's the Four Seasons, which is renowned for rooms that cost nearly $600 to $1,000 a night at some locations. Now let's talk about the second misconception. You're gonna get sick. This is our second trip to India and I've been sick more times in Bangkok over the last 3 years than I have in my 2 visits to India, which currently still stands at 0 sicknesses. I do have a strong belief if you're going to explore street food, you're going to increase your chances of getting sick, but as a traveler, if you choose locations wisely, you can completely avoid any type of sickness during your stay in this country. Should you pack medicine? Of course you should. It's still a risk. But to this point, I have not been affected. Also on the topic of food, while there is a lot of vegetarian options, it's not the only option. You can find mixed vegetarian menus with non-vegetarian entrees, and these are available at every establishment we visited. As for spicy food, while there is spicy food available, it is not so dominant that you can't work around it. The chefs will work with you. You just tell them, hey, not so spicy, and they were able to curb that down to a manageable flavor that didn't burn you to the toilet. The third misconception, India is not safe. I don't know where they got that one from, but it has not been my experience. I'm an American, and I can say this is very true in New York City and a lot of other big cities where it's not safe. It doesn't just need to be India where we mentioned something like this, but during my experience to 3 cities, Agra, New Delhi, and Mumbai, I had no issues. If you're gonna go to a lot of public places, there is hagglers. You should expect that. I never felt threatened that somebody was going to rob me by gunpoint or knife at any point during any of these visits. If you go to a high public touristy areas, you can expect attention. And sometimes it's intense and overwhelming. I will not deny that, but I was not scared. If anything, I embraced it and listened to what they were trying to sell. And if a deal made sense, we exchanged money for souvenirs or whatever product they were selling. Nobody was trying to steal my wallet. Some people just wanted to make money for food. Some are just trying to feed their families. Everybody's agenda is different, but all in all, we were in a position to help, so we did what we could. Also, to add to this, I was accompanied by 2 females, and a common misconception is it's not safe for women. Both these women travelers were able to navigate the city without me, without issues or complaint. But with that being said, just be smart, do your business during the daytime hours, don't go in alleys that you shouldn't be in, and just keep your street smart wits about you. I think you'll be fine. Fourth myth, traffic is chaotic. Well, let me tell you right now, that's not a myth, that's a fact. It's actually pretty hilarious. Depending on where you're at in the city, it can be rough, especially in Mumbai. I personally don't think this is a misconception at all. I think it's very true. There's some areas that are just mad. Some streets don't have lines. Sometimes you have a bunch of cars just rolling down the street in whatever lane they choose. There's a bunch of honking all the time. They do have highways and they are formal. Driving those routes are probably the preferred routes if you want to get through at least Mumbai. As a driver in the city, I personally don't recommend being a tourist coming to the city and trying to drive because that could be really challenging. Highly recommend you use other avenues. It's very convenient to open the Uber app and just hire a driver. He'll take you anywhere you want for low prices. You have the option of picking a driver that'll take you from point A to point B, or you have an option to have a driver drive you X amount of hours to wherever destinations you want. Keep in mind, Uber Black cars are the better version of cars in India, so when you open that app, keep your eye out for Uber Black cars. In certain parts of the cities, Uber Black is not available. The Uber Black cars are definitely more maintained, they're more spacious, and they are the best option to select when you open the app. The fifth misconception was India stinks. You're gonna stink when you leave India, and all this stuff's just gonna wash off your body like it's just such a nasty place to be. This is the most bogus claim ever. It's not even close to being true. The next misconception, number 6 on my list, is India is hot and sweaty. Well, it's not the only hot and sweaty country or city, however you want to look at it. We just happened to go in December, which was the perfect time to go to India. It was perfect outside, low 80s, very comfortable temperatures. My only issue was it was super smoggy. The smog was so bad you really couldn't see very far in front of you in most cases. It was really bad. Won't deny that. New Delhi, the temperature when we went there was about it was 90 to 100, so it was a lot hotter there. It is a landlocked area, so you couldn't get away from that heat. You could not hide from it at all. It was rough. So time your seasons right and you can have an enjoyable experience. Just keep in mind the December, January time frame is probably the best time to travel to these subtropical Asian, Southeast Asia countries because the weather is just perfect during those seasons. So those are some of the biggest misconceptions I've seen related to India. I wanted to post this video because I felt like it was the one video that no one really talks about. You hear whispers of it, but I wanted to debunk all that stuff because I got a lot of great content out of India. And the people I met during all my trips have been amazing. I had people who didn't believe it was gonna be a great trip. Turned out they had a great time. So this is that video for people who are just wondering, is it okay? Is it safe? Is it as bad as people say it is? No, it's not. It's an amazing country. It's one of the few countries I can say, when I go to India, I'm in a different country, and that's the amazing part of it. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, take this chance, hit that subscribe button. We've got some other India videos, and my next video will be the 4-season review video. So you can actually see that hotel that we stayed at, it was fantastic. So until next time, Mr. Black Adventures, talk to you later.